Today, we're diving deep into the story of one of the most advanced airliners up there in the sky, the Airbus A350. I mean, this thing is a true titan of modern aviation. It was born out of this really intense competition and some pretty radical innovation, all to answer one fundamental question.
Right? That's the core question Airbus had to face. This isn't just about building another plane, it's a story about completely redefining what long-haul travel looks like in the 21st century.
And look, to really get the A350, you have to understand its rival. The battle for the future of long-haul flight pretty much comes down to these two giants. You've got the Airbus A350-1000, which is all about incredible efficiency, and then you have the massive Boeing 777-9, which is a big bet on pure, unmatched passenger capacity.
And this really sets the stage for a super high-stakes battle for dominance, a battle that pushed aerospace engineering right to its absolute limits.
You see, the A350 didn't just appear out of nowhere. Its entire existence is a direct response to Boeing. When Boeing came out with the game-changing 787 Dreamliner, the one that used all those lightweight composite materials, Airbus knew it had to answer back, and it had to be big. But the path from just an idea to the icon it is today was anything but smooth. It actually required a complete rebirth of the original concept. Airbus's first crack at this, way back in 2004, was, well, to put it mildly, it was underwhelming. They basically offered a warmed-over version of their old A330 with some new engines and tweaked wings. And the airlines, the people who actually buy these things, they just weren't having it. They looked at the proposal and essentially said, nope, this is not a real competitor.
Yeah, the rejection from the market was so strong it forced Airbus to go all the way back to the drawing board. I mean, they had to completely scrap the old plan and commit a staggering €4 billion to a brand new clean sheet design. So, you can see the journey right here. It started with that failed idea in 2004, got hit with a ton of criticism, and then came that landmark decision in 2006 to launch a completely new aircraft. That was the moment, right there, that the A350 we know today was truly born.
So what did that huge redesign get us? The XWB, or Extra Wide Body. By making the fuselage wider than the old A330, and even wider than its main rival, the 787, Airbus created a cabin that just offered more space, way more comfort, and a ton more flexibility for airlines. It was a bold statement that said, hey, this is a completely new thing.
Okay, so that's the origin story. Now let's get into the really good stuff. Let's get inside the design and see what makes this plane so revolutionary. When you break it down, the A350's success really rests on three big technological pillars. A fuselage built from advanced composites, these incredibly smart wings that can actually change their shape in flight, and a new generation of powerful, super efficient engines. First up, that fuselage. Over half of the A350's entire structure is made from carbon fiber reinforced polymer. So what is that? Well, think of it like ultra-strong threads of carbon woven together inside a plastic matrix. This material is a total game changer. It's way lighter than aluminum, which saves a ton of fuel, but it's also stronger, and this is key, it doesn't rust or corrode.
Okay, but why does that matter to you, the person flying in it? Well, that advanced engineering translates directly into a better flight. Because composites don't corrode, the airline can keep the cabin humidity higher, so you feel way less dried out. The stronger body also means they can set the cabin pressure to a lower altitude, which helps reduce fatigue and jet lag. And as a bonus, you get bigger windows and a much quieter ride. Next up, the wings. Now, these are not just static pieces of metal. The A350's wings are almost alive, kind of like a bird's, constantly making these tiny adjustments. The surfaces on the back edge subtly shift and flex while you're cruising, optimizing the wing's shape for the exact speed and altitude. It's all about squeezing every last drop of performance out of the fuel. And all this incredible technology isn't just packed into one plane. Airbus was smart. They built a whole family around this one platform. So there are three main versions for passengers. You've got the baseline A350-900, which is really the workhorse of the family. Then there's the A350-1000, which is a stretched version made to carry more people and go head-to-head with the bigger jets out there. And finally, you have the specialist, the 900ULR, which stands for ultra-long range. And this is where the A350 just gets wild. The ULR can fly an incredible 18,000 kilometers without stopping. Let that sink in for a second. This plane is the whole reason we now have routes like Singapore to New York, connecting opposite sides of the globe in a single 19-hour flight. It has fundamentally changed what is even possible in air travel.
So let's bring all this together and circle back to that central rivalry we talked about. If you're an airline, how in the world do you choose between these titans of the sky?
Well, a quick look at the numbers tells the whole story. The 777-9 is just plain bigger and wider, which lets it carry a lot more passengers. We're talking about 57 more people in a typical layout. But the A350-1000, it pushes the absolute boundaries of range, able to fly nearly 1,000 kilometers farther.
This just goes to show there is no single best plane. An airline's choice really comes down to their strategy. If you want a proven, super efficient aircraft that gives you the most flexibility with your routes, you're probably going to choose the A350. But if your goal is to make the most money possible on super busy routes by packing in more seats, you might just bet on the 777-9's bigger capacity.
Ultimately, it just boils down to this classic trade-off. Do you prioritize efficiency and range, or do you prioritize sheer size and the money you can make on every single flight? That right there is the question shaping the future of our skies.
So there you have it, the A350, born from what was basically a failure and then redesigned into an absolute triumph, has really set the standard for modern long-haul flight. It's a marvel of efficiency, of technology, and of passenger comfort. But you know, as technology keeps marching on, the question remains, what's the next big thing? What innovation, whether it's in engines or materials or design, is going to define the next generation of titans that will rule the skies?